Alright, Piss and Vinegar day 77 or 78. And new training day today. This is normally my rest day, but I was getting bored of just resting, so I thought I'd do high intensity cardio slash intervals slash boxing slash functional training and quotations day. So I did a bunch of sprints, didn't record them all. Super slow, super white. I think this backyard from the tree line, from the where I was starting to the tree line, is 20 meters rather. I got like 3.5 seconds or 3.50 seconds, and yeah, that's pretty fucking slow. And then I finished it with some relatively fast running, back and forth for a while. And yeah, I didn't really plan today. I just kind of went, I just go in the backyard and just kind of start doing a bunch of different high intensity things. And yeah, it was good. It was a new stimulus. I'm not as fit as I'd like to be. And some of these things were kind of like performance. So I wanted to see, like, what's the point of all this training and getting strong and big if you're not really seeing what you can do with your body. And some of the things were what I call actual functional training. So there's a misconception. Like, people will say, functional training is a myth, because if you look at it in one perspective, it is. If you take it from the marketing gimmicks perspective of like Bosu balls and unbalanced one leg, banded deadlifts with one leg taking more attention than the other, and being on, focusing on your balance, and one arm push-ups, and these stupid fucking movements that are just marketing gimmicks, to be able to sell programming that seems really advanced and new, and a lot of athletes will fall for this bullshit. Then yes, that is what is not actually functional training. It serves no function, and if I can squat 200 kilos, I'm going to be able to get off the floor or bend over and pick things up a lot better than some 70 kilo skinny twink who does like Pilates and functional quotations training. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I don't mean like that stupid twink stuff. There's a lot of guys now on YouTube where I can't remember the name of this guy, but Natural Hypertrophy made a great in-depth video about him. There's this guy that's like, brags about how he's skinny but strong. He's not strong. He's like, he's skinny and he's flexible, and he's like strong because he weighs like 50 kilos. And when you weigh 50 kilos, it's very easy to move your body around through space. So what I mean by functional training is training smaller muscles that are important for the rest of your training. So right now I'm doing a knees over toes suggestion. If you don't know who that is, knees over toes is a guy that had a knee reconstruction, was told he'd never play basketball again, and then about a few years later, through a bunch of different exercises to rehab his knees, he was able to do a massive vertical and could slam dunk and all this different shit, and has like the strongest fucking knees you'll ever see. So this is one of his suggestions. This trains the patella tendons, the hamstring tendons, and just trains your body by moving backwards rather than forwards, which we're not used to doing. So this serves a function in the sense that, no, it's not going to make me like tremendously strong, but it's going to make me more functional in the sense that I won't get injured and I'll have a better working body. So there is a thing such as functional training. People just misinterpret it. And then the movement I do after this, you'll see, is sort of side walking bands, where I just walk sideways, and do band abduction to train my glute medius and minimus. And that is functional because it allows me to not have knee valgum when I do squats. If your glute minimus and medius is weak, you'll have internal rotation on the knees when you do squats. And that is not functional because you want to function correctly through the squat. So functional training is to adjust, it is to work on your weaknesses that won't allow you to train the main functional training, which is strength training, functionally. If you can't do those things functionally, you are dysfunctional. Throwing the word dysfunctional and functional around a lot here, but hopefully you understand what I mean by this. It's when I say functional training, I mean working on smaller muscles that need to be addressed, that are weak, like my lower back, glute medius. Just thought of one, my tibialis muscles, which is important for knee health. So I should have added that to my training. But yeah, again, today I winged a lot of this shit. Next session will be a lot more in depth, a lot more intervals. the exercise selection would be correct, because like by the time I had finished these movements, my quads were fucked, and a bunch of the different high intensity cardio things I wanted to do were just not. I wouldn't be capable of doing them because my quads were just burning. So today is functional slash high intensity cardio day. So that's hence the sprints, and you'll see in a minute I'll do more high intensity cardio. But this is part of this part is more functional. The backwards sled pulls and these side steps. This is function training. But then I also will mix high intensity cardio in it with it, and then boxing, and then abs. So it's kind of like my second accessory day, and I don't want to do. I hate cardio. I just fucking hate it, especially steady state cardio. I don't mind high intensity cardio, but I don't want to do it numerous times a week. So I was reading a bunch of studies, and it turns out there's a bunch of data that shows that realistically you only need one session a week where you do very high intensity cardio, where you're basically putting your heart rate to its absolute max, and that puts a stressor on the heart that allows adaptations, that gives you a very healthy heart and increases your VO2 max rather. VO2 max. Yes, it's been a hot minute since I thought about cardiovascular training. So yeah, these studies I was reading was basically illuminating that you don't need a bunch of cardio a week in order to have a healthy heart and strong lungs. You only need basically one very high intensity cardio session, because essentially the heart is a muscle, the lungs are obviously organs, but they function in a very similar capacity, in the sense that if you use them at high capacity, they will get stronger and increase their size and capacity. So what I'm going to do is, rather than doing steady state cardio, which I wasn't doing anyway, and I needed to start doing some form of cardio, is just do cardio on my Sundays. Do a shorter high intensity session once a week. Ideally I do two, but I just do one. And that way I can increase my cardio, help my heart health and all these different things, while also doing functional, in quotations, training. Because steady state's kind of boring gay. I don't want to fucking do it. Like this, okay, so this movement here, this is not a functional movement. This is just high intensity cardio. There is nothing really functional about sledgehammer slams. They're great. They're decent for muscular endurance in your shoulders and forearms. I was feeling there's a lot in my shoulders, but it was more just because I needed to take some of the stress off my legs, because they were fucking done after all those other movements I did. But yeah, I don't like steady state cardio. I don't like getting on the treadmill. I don't like doing the bike. I like going for short walks, or 15, 20-minute walks a few times a day, 1 or 2 walks a day. And that's my thing. And other than that, I don't like doing cardio. The only cardio I like is steady state cardio is sex. And people will say, oh, if you're out of breath during sex, you're really unfit. No, you're probably not fucking like a man. If you fuck like a man, it will most definitely count as cardio. And for you incels out there, I'm sorry. All the best to you. If you can get someone to have sex with, I will count that as cardio personally. So that is my steady state cardio, and I do a decent amount of that nowadays. So that's my steady state. I get that done pretty much every day, a few times a day, and then I do the high intensity cardio once a week. And with those two, I think I'm pretty much golden. I don't need to do any kind of bike or running or any of that shit. I might get into swimming now that's getting into summer. I do enjoy swimming, but it's just it's hard to go swim because you have to like get in your car, drive to the pool. There's people there. It's annoying. It's chlorine. Chlorine's kind of gross and chemically. I might go to a lake nearby and start doing swims there. But this is just much easier to do once a week in the backyard. Get it done. Get some function in there. Get the heart rate up, and bam. So that's what I'm going to be doing from now on Sundays, rather than just doing a day off. I'm going to do these high intensity training sessions with high intensity cardio rather. And these might not be super fun to watch, but and part of it will also be getting back into boxing. So I haven't done boxing in about 5-6 years, and it will show in my technique. I've lost a lot of technique. I'm way stiffer. I'm throwing a lot of arm punches. And this is also, I've never done any formal boxing training. I've never had a coach, never stepped in a boxing gym. I've sparred with mates, and I've basically learned how to box off YouTube videos. So don't want to hear you guys saying, oh, you're not fucking, your footwork's, you're flat-footed or you're arm punching or whatever. Like, I haven't boxed in 5-6 years, and I never formally learnt box anyway. So I think, for how I've learnt and how inconsistently I've boxed, I think I throw down decently well. But I'm more just kind of working on the cardio Well, today was more working my technique because I was self conscious. I was like, man, my punches feel super stiff and not loose and snappy. So today was kind of just working on technique, throwing one punch at a time, throwing a few combos. My front delt on my left side, it's pretty common for novices or beginners when they start boxing to have their left delt or their anterior front delt on the left side to be very stiff and sore after like 5-10 minutes. Like I only did boxing here for like maybe 15-20 minutes, and I didn't include all of it because I didn't want to have 20 minutes of me talking about boxing, so I cut some of it out. But after throwing enough jabs and left-handed punches, my front delt was fucking done. Like I think I have partially got some anterior outlet syndrome, so my front delt and pec minor and upper pecs are kind of tight. So that will probably take some time to basically increase my endurance on my left delt, because that's always been an issue with boxing, is my left front delt always feels really stiff after like 20 minutes, so I don't get much time to do boxing. But yeah, unfortunately I don't have anyone to do pads with or anyone to spar with anymore. Or realistically, I don't have a boxing gym where I live. There is 0 boxing gyms or martial art gyms where I live. Otherwise, I probably would have taken up boxing a little bit, got a coach, maybe learnt some more fundamentals. But as of right now, I've learnt boxing to the point where between being strong from weights and just kind of doing fundamental boxing training at home, watching tapes and making sure that my technique is okay based off my own knowledge, I've gotten to the point where like I've only been a few street fights in my life, but there have been scenarios where I've had to fight just because there was no other way, and it's super unfortunate situation to be. It's scary, it sucks, it's dangerous. I'd always say try to just run away or don't get in the fight, even if you're convinced you could beat the piss out of a guy. Like there have been situations where a guy throws the biggest haymaker you've ever seen coming, and you're like, I can fuck this guy up, but you should still just run away. Like you knock that guy out, he dies, you go to jail, blah blah blah, or he gets a lucky punch, hits you, decides he wants to keep going when you're unconscious, and now you're dead. So street fights fucking suck, but I've gotten to the point where I can handle myself if I ever needed to, just from learning the fundamentals of boxing. And I'd suggest to any man watching to at least get to the point where you could beat up 99% of the population. Get to the point where you're fit, strong enough that you can just kind of ragdoll, and get to the point with your hands that you could probably throw a punch and duck a punch and block a punch better than most people. Because you'll find that at that point, you're not going to fight a professional boxer in the street anyway, because a guy that actually genuinely knows how to box, who could piece me up like no problem, isn't going to fight me anyway, because those guys' egos are in check. They understand the danger of fighting. They're not going to be the kind of guy that's like, come on then. And if they are, I'll see they're squaring up and I might just fucking run away, because it's like, I don't want to fight that guy. He actually knows how to box. So the likelihood of you actually ever being in a street fight situation, you never know when it's going to happen, and the likelihood that you are going to fight someone that knows how to fight is low. So get to the point where do some boxing in a gym for a year, or just learn at home to the point where you know how to potentially take a punch, know how to block a punch, know how to parry, know how to duck, know how to snap back, and then just know how to throw a punch with technical efficiency to the point where if you hit someone correct, that's going to hurt them real bad or it's going to knock them out. And that way you can potentially get out of sticky situations, because I've been in situations where if I didn't know how to, I won't say I know how to box, because I don't necessarily know how to box. Like I'd be a very amateur boxer by all standards, but I knew how to handle myself far better than the people that I was in the altercation with, and thus was okay. But if I hadn't, it could have been really dangerous and really bad for me. One of which was a situation where a guy had a knife, and if I didn't know how to box, I would have been fucked, really. I could have very well died. Now, with obviously, the situation there was also, I used to be a brown belt in judo, so I had grappling on my side, which helped me massively. But not always will you be able to grapple a guy in a street fight. Maybe he's got his mates, and now you're on the ground rolling around with him, and that's fine. You can choke him out, whatever. But now, all of a sudden, his mates are kicking you in the fucking head. You would have been much better off keeping your distance and just throwing punches. These BJJ guys, it's great. I wouldn't want to get in a street fight with a BJJ guy. he'll tear my knee off, he'll fucking snap my arm, he'll choke me out. That suck, but they don't take into consideration that it's a different game in a street fight. I can bite them, my mate might jump over and just jump on their fucking head. So in a street fight, it is better to be able to strike or ideally run as fast as you can. As you can see at the start of the video, I can't run very fast, so there's a good chance that they're going to catch me. So I kind of just have to throw hands. But anyway, yeah, my boxing's not super good. But maybe part of this part of the series will be me doing a lot of boxing and watching myself after the fact and going, oh shit, I was mouth breathing instead of breathing through my nose. I wasn't following through my right hands. I'm very flat-footed, blah, 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 blah. Because even though I'm not even a stretch of the imagination, a boxing coach, after the fact, just based off what I know about boxing from watching videos and watching it as a fan, I can go back and look at it and go, oh, that's blatantly wrong. I might not pick up on things that a coach would pick up on, but I could go, I'm for sure fucking up right there. I didn't bring my right hand back to my face when I threw that jab, or that cross, rather. So that might be part of it too, is just kind of watching my boxing. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling on here, but today is just an amalgamation of different things. And then I finish off with the abs. So I didn't do abs on Saturday, where I do, or Friday is my accessory day, where I do my traps and neck and not forearms, calves. But I decided that I would not do abs on that day and do abs on this functional high intensity day, because that way I could focus more on the abs. But realistically, I got to the abs and was like, man, I'm pretty fucking tired after the cardio, and these abs are pretty hard. But I still think I'm going to do these abs at the end of the functional days. And there's going to be more things I'll add to these. I might start doing my rotator cuffs on this day too. I might start doing, I'm going to do tibialis raises, and might start doing Nordic curls. Just movements for smaller muscles that don't matter for aesthetics so much, but matter for function. The abs obviously is much more for strength and aesthetics. Like, the abs are incredibly important. But yeah, anyway, I might do these on accessory day. I might do them here. I don't know. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. And I had fun today, actually, because it was something new. Normally I do, the high intensity sessions that I do with the weights, they're exactly the same every single session. Sometimes I have an A or B day, depending. Like my back day, I have, one session where I do certain compound movements, and then the next session I do other compound movements. But realistically, everything is exactly the same, which is good and bad. It's fun to do new things in training. So part of what this day will be also is to do new things. Like, next week I might not do any sprints. I might just do only boxing. Or next week I might not do sprints. I'll do like long jumps, or maybe I'll do farmers carries, or maybe I'll do battle ropes, or whatever it is. And it'll be working on my cardiovascular times and my ability to keep going for longer. That would be a different form of progressive overload I'm not used to in my weight training. So it's just changing things up, doing something different, and yeah, there's probably a hell of a lot of other benefits I'm not really thinking about just right now that come with this. But yeah, I think that's just about it for today's. There's a lot of talking involved with this session too, because there's a lot that I do. It goes for a lot longer than my weight training sessions, so it might be more of a silent session a lot of times, where I don't narrate it, because it'll be hard to just continuously tell you what I'm doing for 20 minutes. It might be that I have to just talk about something entirely different to training while I do these sessions. Make this a day where I just talk about philosophy or something in regards to nutrition or training that's unrelated to the day. But yeah, also at 99 subscribers now, so one more subscriber, and the Novice program drops. So be on the lookout for that video. It's going to be a long video, because it's an extremely extensive Novice program. I think the video might be over an hour long, probably an hour and 30. So it might be boring for a lot of you guys. And if you don't need a Novice program, you have the Novice strength standards hit, then yeah, you might not want to watch it. But you might also want to watch it because you might learn something from it. But for those of you who want to start training or are training but you're a novice, or your standards aren't hit yet, or whatever it may be, it'll be a long video. It might not be super exciting, but it'll be absolutely worth watching. And there'll be certain things that you'll learn in that video that will carry on for the rest of your training journey. as far as technique and mental kind of just little technique cues and little tidbits and training and perspectives that you might not already know about exercise science. So be on the lookout for that. It took me a long time to make that video, but again, it was worth it because you guys are awesome for the 100 subscribers. And yeah, and then there'll be a written program too. And yeah, I'll leave it at that today. There's probably another minute or two of this session. I finish off with back extensions because I do back extensions on leg day, but I decided I'd do back extensions this day too. And this day I won't take them to total failure. I just get some stimulus, maybe 1 or 2 off failure. And the machine was being kind of cunty anyway today, so I didn't really. It was kind of a half-ass set, but it was just to get a bit more, get more work into my lower back that is, as you guys know, very weak and dysfunctional and needs to be strengthened up for my squats and deadlifts. Anyway, thanks for the 100 subscribers. See you guys tomorrow for more Piss and Vinegar. Bye-bye.